been more than 4 years since I had the bottle that I'm about to open. Now I'm revisiting it after more than 4 years. Why, you may ask? Well, I think it has to do with the cheerful packaging, the cheerful, eye catching, colorful packaging compared to the dull, uh, gray beige packaging they used to have. This, my friends, stands out on the shelf. So I thought, yeah, I haven't had Auchentoshan 3 wood in a long time, and I was not all that enamored with it at first. I really love the Auchentoshan um, American Oak, and the 12 is really good, and I really like the 18. And the bartender's malts were fabulous whiskeys, but I never really warmed on to the 3 wood. And I thought, well, maybe now, after 4 years, maybe my views have changed. Maybe I will have a different experience from it. And there's the bottle, Auchentoshan 3 wood. Yeah, I think the label's a little bit more colorful too. That black and blue seems to work. Um, but yeah, I like Auchentoshan. A lot of people seem to malign it. You go, oh, it's lowland. Oh, it's plain. Oh, it's weak, and so on. Not really. It is triple distilled, yes, but that doesn't make it weak. The 3 wood, I originally tried the Auchentoshan 3 wood because I liked, believe it or not, the Laphroaig triple wood. And I thought, well, maybe it will have the same sort of influence on the whiskey that the 3 different woods had with Laphroaig. But this is nowhere, this is not like a Laphroaig at all. This is the polar opposite. And of course, the 3 woods would have a different effect. And they're not the same 3 woods necessarily either. I'm going to pour a gram first. And then I'm going to read what I can and glean what information I can possibly glean from the box and the bottle. And I will stop when it comes to tasting notes, but I don't think there are any on here. Auchentoshan single malt Scotch whiskey. It's bottled at 43% alcohol by volume. Okay, you're holding one of the only triple distilled single malt Scotch whiskies. We've been crafting Auchentoshan in the city since 1823. Auchentoshan. They're even telling you how to pronounce it. Let it roll off your tongue. Auchentoshan. But I put an emphasis on the rather than the k. So it's Auchentoshan. To me, anyway. The usual. Drinksmart.com, 750 mils. Don't get pregnant. What's on the front? Single malt Scotch whiskey, 3 wood, maturation. Oh, they're getting transparent here. Bourbon, Oloroso, and PX casks. Nice. Even though it's hard to read brass, chromy, glittery lettering on a. It's hard to read, but it does say Bourbon, Oloroso, and PX cask. That's nice. What did this set me back in the day? The day was 19th of June. July, August, September, October. Just a little more than 4 months ago. 19th of June, 2020. Auchentoshan 3 wood. Oh, looks like a reasonable price. So, yeah, I'll get this. 7.6 divided by 2 is equal to 3.8, and we're going to add 7.6 to that, plus 0.1 plus 75.99, and the price out the door, $87.49 Canadian. Okay, well, we got that out of the way. Now, what does it say on the box? Ooh. Since 1823, crafted in Glasgow, Auchentoshan, you're holding. Okay. We travel the world to find the finest wood, using only the best selection to create our famous Auchentoshan 3 wood. This distinctive lowland single malt is matured initially in bourbon casks before being finished in Oloroso, then Pedro Jimenez sherry casks. The result is a rich yet velvety, smooth single malt with excellent notes of black currant, treacle, and toffee. Tasting notes. Well, I'll tell you what I get anyway. I'm quite sure this is colored, but it's possible that it doesn't say natural color and unchill filtered, so I'm guessing that it is chill filtered, being at 43%, and colored, because it doesn't say it's not. And do we get any kind of legs on that? Oh, down they come, leaving droplets. Droplets. Trails of droplets going down the glass. I seem to be getting that a lot lately. I think I get the glasses so clean that the whiskey just slumps right off of there. I shouldn't be so clean with my glasses. Okay. I'm getting some of that Auchentoshan distillery character. It's unmistakable Auchentoshan. It's that triple distilled single malt. But then, and I even get the influence of the bourbon barrels. It's a lot like the American oak. And a bit like the 12, only there's more sherry, I think, than the 12-year-old Auchentoshan or the American oak. Naturally, American oak has no sherry at all. More than 4 years ago, back in May of 2016, was the last time I did a video about this particular product, with the packaging being a little different. But I see no reason for the contents of the bottle to be any different from what they were then. Like I said, back then I was not so keen on it, but now, after all this time, I have become more, shall we say, attuned to sherry cask matured or finished whiskey than I have been in the past, 4 years ago. 4 years ago, I think I was just starting to get used to the idea of liking sherry maturation and finishing. Smells good. Yeah, I'm picking up that triple distilled distillery character, the bourbon, and the Oloroso and PX as well. There's a sweetness coming from the PX, and there's kind of like the Oloroso kind of grounds it. Yeah, smells quite nice. Let's give it a taste. Let me get some water. The last thing I had to drink was a gin and tonic. That was the way I started my night. So this is kind of my second drink, but it's my first whiskey. You know, I might have slagged it back in the day, but it smells quite agreeable. I can pick out the three main cask influences. They're easy to. There's kind of a dryness from the Oloroso. There's kind of a sweetness from the PX. And there are toffee and vanilla notes as well from the bourbon. You know, this is a nice, easy sipper, and it's quite tasty. There's a little bit of a spice influence as well. I don't know if that comes from the casks that the Oloroso and the Pedro Jimenez came in. It might be some European oak involved there, but I am definitely getting some tannins happening. A little bit of that slightly bitterness is coming on, and I like it. It adds character to what would naturally be just an Auchentoshan American oak. It's non-age statement after all. But the American oak is at 40%, I believe. This is at 43. You know, I'm liking this a lot more than when I tried it back in 2016. I am a fan of other expressions of Auchentoshan, and this one here is growing on me too. I'm kind of a fan of this one as well. It's a nice way to start a flight, especially if you're going to go on to things like Glenfarclas or Glendronach or what's that other one? Glengoyne. A good start to a sherry flight, I think. Or maybe even just as good. Pour a second glass of this, but take it easy because it is very easy drinking. And I like the finish. I like that little bit of bitterness on the finish. Yeah. And it's a perfect balance of the bourbon, the Pedro Jimenez, and the Oloroso. A perfect balance. I don't think I've had ever tasted a more perfect balance between the three. Wow, has my tune ever changed in 4 years? Slanchava.
Food Quig.
Food Quig.
Food Quig.
Food Quig.
Food quick.
Yeah.